Hello horror movie lovers, I'm Trenton and I love movies just like you, obviously. So I watched The Conjuring because didn't y'all summon me? No? Oh, well, I'm already here, so who wants to die first?
What the?
My expectations were neutral. Majority of the Conjuring universe I've seen only once around the time when the movies were first released. So a lot of the movies in this universe I don't remember too vividly besides a couple. This movie in particular I didn't remember at all, so I went in somewhat blind, I guess you could say. But did the movie meet my expectations? Yeah, they were met. They weren't exceeded by any means, but I thought the movie was okay. Don't attack me, but I feel this movie is a little overrated.
Everyone's entitled to one good scare.
Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. Forced to confront a powerful entity, the Warrens find themselves caught in the most terrifying case of their lives. The first half of this video will be spoiler free, and the last half will contain spoilers. Don't worry, I will give you a warning before we enter spoiler territory. The characters were all pretty likable. I was genuinely surprised by how much I enjoyed some of their screen time. All the children, I didn't really feel anything for them, to be honest. I wasn't worried for them. I felt more for the adults as opposed to the children. Ed and Lorraine Warren, obviously the best characters, one of my husbands and one of my wives. Carolyn and Roger were likable. I feel like Roger didn't really do anything to progress the story, while Carolyn definitely carried when it came to the parents. The story is very generic, of course. A large white family move into an old haunted looking house with a decrepit tree and creek in their backyard, and turns out it's actually haunted, so they have to deal with that. The story's fine, I guess. I have a hard time determining whether or not a generic story is a bad thing, especially since the movie came out a decade ago and the climate of horror movies back then is obviously different than how it is now. But rewatching the movie 10 years later, I will say, I don't know, the genericity was very overwhelming in my opinion. Like, the movie felt like a walking cliche and trope. The writing was fine. It definitely shined when it came to the characters and their dynamics. Everybody is so wholesome and likable. But when it comes to the scares themselves, they're jump scares. It's a jump scare fest. A good chunk of them did get me, but jump scare fests, they do tend to get old pretty quickly, especially when that is the main horror element. The decisions that our characters make are questionable, of course. They're definitely not the smartest. They'll go through some creepy, unexplainable shit when they're alone and don't think to, maybe stick together and, not split up and, tell others when they experience something strange, knowing that something strange and supernatural is happening in the house. But other than that, I think the writing was fine. The cinematography is great, lighting, atmosphere, camera movements, all the visual aspects are great, which is, to be expected in a Conjuring universe movie. It's one of the main aspects that's consistent within the universe, for the most part. We'll get to that movie pretty soon. The effects are great as well. Both the practical effects and visual effects look good, and the movie has some bloody, gory-ish moments that are far and few in between, but when they do happen, it's pretty jarring. Like, I do not remember that. The tone is, dark. I mean, yes, the subject matter itself is dark, but when it comes to the stakes of the movie, knowing that it's based on a true story, you can kind of put two and two together when it comes to the stakes of the movie and its characters. But the backstories are dark, and with that comes a dark atmosphere, so I guess you could say the movie is dark. The pacing is my biggest complaint of the movie. You can definitely feel the almost 2-hour runtime. It honestly felt longer. The supernatural events happen fairly quickly, and after that, they happen pretty consistently throughout the rest of the runtime, but even still, the movie feels really slow. It's the type of movie for me that I enjoyed watching specifically for the characters and some of the scares, but since the pacing is on the slower side, I don't see myself rewatching it again anytime soon. The life lesson that I learned after watching The Conjuring was that you already know what I'ma say. Say it with me. Don't have children. They will make you go crazy.
Your fucking baby's gonna burn.
Yes. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I completely understand why it was so hyped up when it was first released in 2013, but watching it 10 years later, 10 years worth of horror movies, it's not a bad movie by any means, but it just doesn't feel as special as it once was. To me, of course. But I'm gonna have to give The Conjuring a 6.5 out of 10. Again, not a bad movie at all. We are now entering spoiler territory. If you haven't seen The Conjuring, watch it, then come back to the video, or if you simply don't care about spoilers, keep on watching. In this portion of the video, I break down the movie, go go more in depth with my likes and dislikes, as well as my favorite scene, favorite kill, and least favorite kill. But there isn't really anything that I want to go more in depth about regarding my in-depth likes and dislikes, since I feel like I said everything that I needed to say in the non-spoiler section. And if you've seen the movie, you know that there literally isn't any kills or deaths in it, unfortunately. So at the end of the video, I'm gonna have to skip the kill section as well and just do my favorite scene and least favorite scene. Again, we are now entering spoiler territory. In 1968, renowned demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren are investigating the Annabelle case, in which friends Debbie and Camilla say they have a possessed doll. They explain that after they contacted a medium, they allowed the spirit, who claimed to be a 7-year-old girl named Annabelle Higgins, who died in the apartment, to possess the doll. Unable to get rid of the doll as the hauntings became more disturbing, Debbie and Camilla decided to desperately reach out to the Warrens. The Warrens then explained how the doll was never really possessed and was a conduit for a demonic spirit that manipulated Debbie and Camilla so that it could eventually take over one of their bodies. See, this is exactly why you shouldn't be nice to anyone or anything for that matter. If a dead 7-year-old girl asks permission to possess a doll or a stuffed animal that I own,
get somebody else to do it.
3 years later, in 1971, Roger and Carolyn Perrin move into a farmhouse in Harrisville, Rhode Island, with their 5 daughters, Andrea, Nancy, Christine, Cindy, and April. Their dog Sadie refuses to enter the house. A minor mishap during the game of hide and clap results in the discovery of the boarded up entrance to an unknown cellar. Paranormal events occur within the first few nights. Every clock in the house stops at 3:07 a.m. Carolyn awakens with additional large bruises every morning. One day, Sadie is found dead in the yard. I wonder what an understandable, reasonable, and realistic reaction would be to the events that happened in/around this house so far in the movie. Maybe get the fuck out of there? I know y'all tied all your money to this house, but your dog got murdered outside, which shows that whatever spirit is on the land is violent, and y'all are experiencing very apparent paranormal events and still choose to stay with your 5 young daughters. Carolyn and Christine both encounter a malevolent spirit. Carolyn contacts the Warrens, who meet with her and agree to conduct an initial investigation, during which Lorraine, a clairvoyant, sees the dark forces have latched on to the Perrin family. She explains that leaving the house will not free them. To gather evidence, they place cameras and bells around the house with the help of their assistant Drew Thomas and police officer Brad Hamilton. Further research reveals that the house once belonged to an accused witch named Bathsheba Sherman, a relative of Marytown Eastie, who sacrificed her week-old baby to the devil and herself in night. Who said, I'm sorry, that's so funny. That is so not funny. Why am I laughing? Who sacrificed her week-old baby to the devil and herself in 1863 at 3:07 in the morning after proclaiming her love to Satan and cursing all who take her land. Why am I laughing? That is not funny. There are reports of numerous murders and through the years in the houses that were built on the property. One morning, Bathsheba appears to Carolyn and fully possesses her. Again, even with this information, they still do some of the stupidest shit. Like, seriously, you learn that a witch committed a murder and cursed the land that your family's house is on, but oh, I'm tired. Let me go take a nap completely by myself, even though I've already had multiple inexplainable one-on-one encounters with some of the evil spirits in this house. What could go wrong? That night, the group hears a spirit luring Cindy into the wardrobe, where she reveals a secret passage. Lorraine enters the passage and falls down to the cellar, where she sees the spirit of a woman whom Bathsheba had possessed long ago and used to kill her child. Bathsheba attacks Nancy. The incident is caught on camera. The Warrens conclude it is sufficient evidence to receive authorization from the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism. But Father Gordon explains that approval would have to come directly from the Vatican because the Perrin family are not members of the Catholic Church. Okay, the Conjuring universe and Narnia crossover? But in all seriousness, really, like, if a harmful spirit is terrorizing a family of 7 that isn't religious, the church can't help them and has to get approval from the Vatican, which isn't an instant process? Like, that's crazy. They don't got 5 to 7 business days. The Warrens' daughter Judy is attacked in the Warren home by Bathsheba. The Perrin family takes refuge at a motel, but Carolyn takes Christine and April back to the house to kill them. Ed, Lorraine, and Brad find Carolyn in the cellar trying to stab Christine. Lorraine warns that if they take Carolyn outside the house, Bathsheba will kill her. They tie Carolyn to a chair and Ed attempts the exorcism himself. Though Carolyn escapes and attempts to kill April, Lorraine is able to call to her by reminding her of a special memory they shared with her family, allowing allowing Ed to complete the exorcism, lift Bathsheba's curse, and condemn her back to hell. Not gonna lie, as much as this family was pissing me off with how stupid some of the decisions they made were, I was really feeling for them in the third act. When movies or TV shows show a flashback of a happy moment from a character's past when they're in a life or death situation, it always gets to me for some reason. Like, I always end up crying, and now that I'm thinking about it, the very first time I watched the movie, I definitely did cry in this scene, because even rewatching the movie 10 years later, I was on the verge of tears. Like, I can't. Get out! Returning to his home, Ed adds the haunted music box from the parent home to their room of cursed artifacts that they have collected from past cases. As he leaves, the music box starts playing by itself. Ooh. Then the movie ends. My favorite scene would have to be the scene where Lorraine fell through the floor into the basement, specifically the jump scare when Lorraine is under the table and the hanging body swings in front of her. That jump scare got me good. Not gonna lie. My least favorite scene would have to be the scene where the mom actually gets possessed. Not the possession itself, just the fact that she chose to take a nap alone, knowing damn well that harmful spirits are on the land, and she didn't think to, like, you know, take a nap near someone else in or around the house, aka Lorraine, who was outside drying clothes. Take a nap outside, woman, gosh. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos from me, and make sure to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Alright, horror movie lovers, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.